Tonight, news of President Biden having classified documents at his home has stirred up conversation among neighbors in central New York on whether a president should be hiding important documents from the public. Allura Lagarde reports.
Many people tell me they care not only if the president, but any politician takes classified documents home. One person even went as far as to say that he can't trust any politician who does. An investigation into classified documents found at President Joe Biden's home and his former vice presidential office during the Obama administration is underway. As of now, 10 documents have been found. I spoke to neighbors in central New York asking if they even care about the classified documents. Some told me no, but a handful told me yes.
I don't think they should have classified documents to a certain extent. If it has anything to do with anything like financially relating to that could like affect the public or that could affect them as a leader to the public.
I care because if it's sensitive information that they should or shouldn't have, it should be up to rules and regulations whether they have it or not.
As a president, everything should be out there.
Biden isn't the first president to be discovered with classified documents. Former President Donald Trump was also investigated for withholding 325 documents, 184 of which were retrieved from his Mar-a-Lago estate.
I don't think we can trust any politician who can take classified documents home.
If it's a Democrat with hidden documents, then the Republicans will go crazy. The Democrats will turn a blind eye. If it's a Republican with the classified documents, then the Democrats will go crazy. Republicans turn a blind eye.
I think there should always be disclosure for us, the people who voted them in, for the people that they serve, that, what are they holding, what is it for, and should they have it at all?
People in the central New York community say despite being the president, there should be some sort of oversight to disband this trend from happening over again.
A person having them, taking it to their home, I don't believe that should be allowed, even if it's the president of the United States.
If it's actually being a trend, I think that's something people should actually care about, for the next president.
We did post a poll on our Twitter page at CNY Central asking people, do you think the president should be allowed to shield classified documents from the public? And if you would like to share your response, you could just head on over to our Twitter page.
About 3 hours of arguments heard in court today in the case brought by a group hoping to stop or at least slow down the $2 billion project to redo I-81. Good evening, I'm Matt Mulcahy.
I'm Megan Coleman. In November, State Supreme Court Justice Gerard Neary signed off on a temporary restraining order blocking the state from starting construction work on the I-81 project. The lawsuit filed by the group called Renew 81 for All against the State Department of Transportation.
Now, the main argument from Renew 81 is the concern over whether the state did not follow its own rules in the environmental review of the community grid option, which would remove the viaduct through downtown Syracuse. Of course, that review went on for more than a decade. Investigative reporter Mary Keeler in studio with what happened in court this afternoon. Mary?
Yeah, well, I was there in the courtroom for the hours-long hearing today, which is likely the last time for a long time in this case. We'll hear much until Judge Gerard Neary comes to a decision on whether he'll side with the group suing the DOT or allow the community grid project to move forward once again. Attorneys on both sides passionate in court. First up, attorney Alan Knopf and his team representing Renew 81 for All. They're arguing the state's environmental impact statement isn't based on accurate and up-to-date data and claim the DOT had already selected the community grid option beforehand, regardless of public opinion. They've also added the Micron project into their argument, saying the decisions made about redoing I-81 need to reflect the population growth, traffic, and housing needs that could come with it. Lawyers representing the state say their environmental impact statement didn't include Micron because the potential project didn't exist yet. They asked the judge to consider the decade of research, consulting, and public input, and to deny the push to stop the project.
DOT's analysis was rational. Its experts looked at all of the data, including and looked at petitioners' comments and the proposals that they put forward, and rationally concluded that the community grid alternative would best serve the needs of the Syracuse community.
The smartest thing would be to go back to the drawing board and do the supplemental EIS for Micron, because the whole community's everybody wants the Micron project, and we don't want it to be a failure because we aren't able to get people to work.
And Judge Neary has his work cut out for him. He says he and his team have already poured over 84,000 pages of documents just related to this case. He'll file the decision online once he makes it, and it's not clear just how long that's going to take.
Starting this year, New York lawmakers will make an additional $32,000, a measure they approved. Governor Kathy Hochul signed the legislation, and for the first time since winning the election for governor, she took our questions today in Syracuse. Our Connor White reports.
Senator Kennedy.
In a vote falling mostly along party lines, lawmakers convened in Albany just before Christmas to make themselves the highest paid state legislators in the country. Senator John Mannion was the lone Central New York Democrat to vote no.
It's a 29% increase. That's shocking to people.
He was also the only one to sit down with us following the vote. Senator Rachel May and Assembly members Pam Hunter, Bill McNarelli, and Al Sturpey have not made themselves available for questions on this after voting yes on the 29% raise.
This is what the legislature thought was appropriate, is they're trying to make sure that we attract smart people.
Governor Hochul signed off on the legislation, falling in line with party rhetoric that this is to attract the best and brightest to state government office. Taking our questions Thursday during a stop in Syracuse, the governor emphasized the second part of the law, which caps outside income at $35,000.
You can get a higher income, but you have to deduct the majority of the outside income. Make sure that your full-time attention really is on the people in your district.
Legislators will start making $142,000 annually this year. That outside pay cap doesn't kick in until 2025.